welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show with naked truths and well-dressed lies. On Lee Mack's team tonight, a comedian from Devon who is truly the cream of the crop. Or should that be the jam of the crop? I never know which goes first. It's Josh Widdicombe. And a star of Made in Chelsea, a show so posh it makes Downton Abbey look like EastEnders. It's Sophie Hermann. And on David Mitchell's team tonight, a DJ and presenter who loves garage classics. My favourite garage classic is treating myself to a scratch card when I pay for my petrol. It's Gemma Cairney. And a man famous for his hammer. No, not the Norse god Thor. It's auctioneer and four-room star Raj Bisram. So to round one, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before, so they have no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Josh, you're first tonight.
OK. Possession.
Ah, right. First of all,
yes,
take the item out and pop it on the desk. Then read out the card.
This is my woolly hat. I can't wear it because whenever my ears get warm, I fall asleep.
Right. David's team.
What? How long does it take you to fall asleep when your ears get warm?
Well, I'd say 10 minutes.
The problem you've done there now, Josh, is you've made it possible to demonstrate. you might want to change that to 4.5 days.
OK. Do you want me to put the hat on for 10 minutes?
Yes.
OK.
And have you had many embarrassing situations with this as a
Well,
problem?
I'm currently wearing it on primetime TV.
Yeah. Have you, like, snoozed off?
I have, yeah.
I've
snoozed off probably 3 times.
Will you describe the 3 times in reverse order of hilariousness?
OK, so all 3 times have been on trains. And in reverse order of hilariousness, didn't miss my stop, didn't miss my stop, missed my stop.
You've got the order right there.
Gemma's got one that only covers one ear, so are you sleepy on the left-hand side?
I am, yeah. Don't judge me, I just...
Can I... genuinely, my ears are warming up and I'm feeling... Can I take it off?
You're feeling a bit drowsy?
Presumably, sometimes you don't want to fall asleep, but wouldn't it also be quite useful if it's true? Because...
I have done that, Rob.
To get off, stick it on.
I can honestly tell you, Rob, that this has never helped me get off.
I don't think anyone would get off if you wear that.
Oh, so soon in the show, Sophie.
There's 7 billion people on this planet. Some of them are into anything.
Oh, that's reassuring. Thank you very much, David.
Exactly, absolutely. But that's, you know...
There's some weirdo out there that would be into me in a hat.
Do you know what, David? Since you got married, you've been very cocky.
So, why were you wearing it on the train anyway? They're not perfectly run, our railways, but I don't usually find that the temperature is arctic in a railway carriage.
I'll be honest with you, David.
Don't insult me with that phrase, because we know the format is you may not be being honest, and I won't hold that against you. It's a parlour game. You know. Okay. You're not denying an affair. You know.
You're not denying it?
Josh Widdicombe fails to deny affair.
This sounds crass, but I wore it on the train because I didn't want people to recognise me.
So you thought the way of detracting attention is to put on an enormous bobble hat.
What are you thinking, Gemma?
I don't think this is true. I think it's a lie.
Yeah, it's got to be a lie. Who falls asleep by putting a hat on?
I think it might be true.
Oh.
But I'm not going to overrule my team. Because I'm just going to...
You don't have the strength of character for that?
I don't know.
OK, so they're saying it's a lie. Josh Widdicombe, truth or lie?
David, it's true.
Oh! Wow.
Yes, it's true. Josh does fall asleep if his ears get warm. Raj, you're next.
I used to practice skiing by strapping myself to the roof of a speeding car.
Right, please, team.
Is this how you lost your hair?
Might have something to do with it.
So, OK, when was this?
Oh, back in the late 70s, early 80s. I was a skier.
What, a professional skier?
Yes.
Were you?
Before you were an antiques guy?
Yes.
And you learned that on a car?
No, it was part of my training. We didn't have a lot of money, so we wanted to get used to going fast.
Where was
so we
this?
used to strap in Austria.
In Austria?
Right, because there are no mountains in Austria where you can practice on.
Are you talking about a professional skier in events, or you mean you taught people to ski?
No, I also raced around Europe.
I'll tell you what, if he's lying and he just added in, I was a professional skier, he's risking it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because we're going to ask him questions. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the best downhill skier in the 80s?
Franz Klammer.
Not you!
Franz Klammer.
Now we'll never know.
So why wouldn't you use the mountains in Austria, then?
Well, for two reasons.
What are they?
One is I would have been a danger on the slopes.
Are you not a danger when you're strapped to a car on a road?
No, we weren't on a road.
Oh, where were you?
A racetrack. Well, it's actually a trotting track. It's for horses that trot round the...
And how'd you learn to ride them? Did you put the horse on top of the car and then get on top of the horse? You were never on a public road, were you?
No.
There was never any situations where the driver forgot and thought, oh, I'll just pop into this underground car park for a minute. What was the second reason? You never got to that?
We didn't have the money either.
But you had the money for a car and the hiring of a racetrack.
We didn't have to hire the racetrack. The car was thrown in, as it were. It was a special car because it had to have a very long roof rack.
What are you practising?
The feeling of speed.
So what sort of speeds are we talking about?
We tried to get to speeds between 60 and 80 miles an hour.
No.
And all that's holding you on is the boots attached to the skis?
Yes.
And what sort of pose, now, then, are you doing? Could you show us the kind of position you would assume?
I'd start standing up, and then I'd get down into this position with my
On the top
sticks
of the
here
car?
like this.
How long's the journey?
We just keep going round the track till, you know, we're tired.
How are you telling the driver
Yes,
that
that's a good point.
Because you're on top of a car going at 60 miles an hour. And you're thinking, I'm knackered here, and so...
Well, I've got poles, and we had a system where you would just bang the car.
Oh, come on!
One bang for stop, two bangs for a snack.
What are we thinking? Sophie, could he be telling the truth?
It's a 9 from me. It's a lie.
I don't know what you learn. What's that training you to do in a car? Because if you're on a ski slope going, oh no, I'm 60 miles an hour, I think I'm going to crash into the tree. Oh, I know. I'll tap on the window. Oh, no, there is no window. Doesn't work. What are you training to do?
Well, you know, just get used to the speed.
All right, what's your team going to say, Lee?
It's a lie.
Do you think it's a lie?
Lie.
We're going to go lie.
You're saying it's a lie. Raj, was it true, or were you telling a lie?
I was, in fact, telling the truth.
Yes, it's true. Raj really did practice skiing on the roof of a car. Sophie, you're next.
OK. Last year, at a charity dinner, I asked Prince William to fetch me a drink because I thought he was a waiter.
David's team.
So describe the scene. How many people are at this dinner?
30? Maybe 40?
OK.
Had you ever seen Prince William before?
I have, and I actually used to be such a big fan of him in the 90s when he still had hair.
Raj, I am so sorry. We invited her on the show. We had no idea. So what happened then? Talk us through the chain of events.
We were at... Oh, what's this place called? Balmoral.
What? What's this place called?
You were at Balmoral.
We were mingling. I always get really hungry at these events, and I'm just busy shoving my face into the canapes. And then one got a little bit stuck in the wrong pipe. So I was half choking, basically.
Okay.
It was a terrible situation. So I just tapped on some shoulder, and, I mean, it was a balding man.
How did he respond?
He was like, oh, my God, here, are you OK? I was so embarrassed.
Let's reenact it. I'll be Prince William, of course, and you be you. So you start having your little coughing fit.
Yeah.
I'm just stood here talking to friends. I mean, it's an absolutely wonderful event. It really is, isn't it? Yes, I mean, gosh, crikey, gosh, I think it's...
You're doing Hugh Grant.
It's the closest I have to Prince William.
Right.
I do it as Ronnie Corbett.
Yes, I think that...
We're having a wonderful night. Imagine Lee is Prince William. Let's see if Lee will do this beautifully. Watch this, watch this.
Are you Welsh?
What?
So what are you going to say, David?
I'll tell you one of my issues with it.
Go on.
I have a few issues. Well, firstly, the location.
Yeah.
Balmoral.
Balmoral.
Yeah.
Now, that's...
You don't often see royals there, do you?
Well, no, but I don't think they hold many charity events for 50 people there. I think that usually happens at other places where the royals sort of come in and are the honoured guests.
What about Racing Raj? What do you think?
I think she could have been there, but the fact is, for me, that she didn't recognise him.
Just another bald guy to her. Her words, not mine. So what's it going to be?
What do you think?
I think the location is the chink in the story, so I think maybe it's not true.
Yeah.
Not true.
Not, we're going to go not true.
Saying lie?
Yeah.
OK,
Yeah.
Sophie, at Balmoral, truth or lie?
It is, of course, a lie.
It's a lie. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest. It's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Sean. So, Raj, what is Sean to you?
This is Sean. I used to whip his shirt off in public for money.
Right, Raj's bare-chested buddy. Gemma, how do you know Sean?
This is Sean, and at school he blew up my Whatsits.
Right, Gemma's crisp combustor. And finally, David, what is your relationship with Sean?
This is Sean. As a boy, I would only let him cut my hair if he was dressed as Zorro.
So there we have it. Raj's bare-chested buddy, Gemma's crisp combustor, or David's heroic hairdresser. Lee's team, where will you begin?
OK, Raj, you used to rip his shirt off for money.
Yep.
When was this?
Back in the early 80s.
Well, let's just get straight to the point. What the hell are you talking about? Why did you rip his shirt off for money?
Well, I'm a bit of a keen amateur magician.
Oh, hello. Where did you learn this? On top of a bicycle?
But I also owned a bistro, so it allowed me...
Oh, hello. Snow once again.
What a life you've led.
And because I had the bistro, it allowed me to indulge my passion of magic. So I used to hold magic evenings where we'd give them dinner and then we'd do close-up magic and then we'd end up doing a little bit of a cabaret.
So what was the trick that involved you ripping off his shirt?
Well, it was the finale to the cabaret act.
What was the finale?
Ripping his shirt off.
That's not a trick, that's assault.
Talk us through it, Raj. We've come to your bistro and we've had a super evening. The food is lovely.
Yep.
And then, oh, hang on, what's happening now?
Yeah, I would ask for a volunteer to come out.
Right.
And lots of people would put their hands up, but I would choose Sean.
Oh, he was
He was my stooge.
So you're telling me that the regulars used to go, that fella's in again. He's having a terrible night. Wait till the end of the night and you see what happens. It gets worse. Every week he falls for this, the poor fella. I'm a viewer. Don't tell me how it's done. As a viewer, what would I have seen?
You would have seen my volunteer come out, and I would sit him down on a chair. I would tell him to relax. I would undo some buttons.
And would you take it, like, from the collar and just go whoosh and it would come off?
Yeah, something like that.
Did it ever go wrong? Did you ever, like, take his nose off?
Well, we had a few incidents.
What happened when it went wrong?
Well, he's the third stooge I've had.
All right, who would you like to quiz next?
Gemma?
Gemma.
OK. So he blew up your what's-it? The little snack? Was it a very strict school?
Yeah, I was at school. He was my teacher, and I was being naughty by eating in the back of the room, just being a bit of a troublemaker.
How did he blow it up?
Well, he was in the middle of doing an experiment, and then he made an example of me by taking the packet, to the front of the room where this experiment was happening and, like, sprayed it with, like, a dry oxygen or something, like some sort of steamy thing. The Bunsen burner was going, and then they just, like, went poof.
Just by heating them up?
Yeah. But,
They
like, it was
blow.
something to do with what was sprayed, like, this kind of...
Yeah.
Petrol.
Yeah. And then everybody was laughing, and then he said, that's what will happen if you eat Wotsits.
Did it stop you from eating in class? Did it have the desired effect?
It had the desired effect, and we got on a lot more after that as well.
It broke the ice.
Yeah.
Suddenly it was Dead Poets Society.
What's his surname?
Smith.
Smith?
Yeah.
Oh.
How did you just think of that like that?
Does Smiths make what? No, it's Golden Wonder, isn't it?
I think Golden Wonder sold Wotsits, I think, to Walkers. I think it was a major corporate error because they were losing market share in their crisps, but they had this Wotsits brand, and then on some dark day they decided to sell that brand, and then they were left with nothing. And that shows you the kind of error that can be made at a corporate level. So we should be careful before we believe that these corporations are sort of magical and the private sector can do things. And before we sell the NHS down the river, remember the idiocy of Golden Wonder.
OK, now then, what about David? Just remind us, David.
As a boy, I would only let Sean cut my hair if he was dressed as Zorro.
It doesn't seem very worth his while. What was the kind of... How much were you paying him to dress as Zorro for this one haircut?
To be honest, I was a child. I didn't pay him.
This is the bit I doubt, that David was a child ever. Did you go asking for Zorro? Was it just an optional thing he used to put on the board? As Zorro, an extra £3.
I think my parents requested Zorro.
What?
Why?
Well, because I was nervous about having a haircut. I think I was about 5, something like that. And I think they'd had an awkward experience with me freaking out at a previous hairdressing encounter.
Yeah, it makes sense. So
they
let's calm him down by getting someone to do it with a blindfold whilst I'm holding a big sharp knife.
Well, let's remind ourselves. Here's Zorro. Have a look. Is that how he would dress up?
As far as I remember, he had a black hat and a black mask.
My God, this show's taken a sort of let's help David turn, hasn't it? So tell us what you look like. Well, here's a picture of him.
Would you genuinely otherwise have thought I hadn't heard of Zorro?
No, but you might have got it wrong.
Well, just, yeah, you know, he wore the classic Zorro fireman's helmet and a stethoscope.
So how old were you?
5, I think. Might have been 6, I'm not sure.
How old was he, approximately?
How old was he?
Don't look at him.
You can't stop me looking at it. I think he was in his 20s.
Right, so let's be kind and say 21. So, therefore, he's 15 years older than you at that time.
Yeah.
You're saying this man is 15 years older than you.
And how old are you? 47.
Approximately the same age to me, that man.
OK.
Paint a picture for us. Young Master David is going to the high street, to the barber's, unaware of the great fame and glory that lies ahead of him. For now, he's just a small boy.
Yes.
What happens?
I can't remember the details, but broadly, I was very nervous about going to hairdressers.
I don't want to go in, Mummy. No. I want to go home and write with my crayons. I'm going to write a satirical look back at the week that's just happened. My friends in playgroup are telling me I'm quite the wit.
I mean, I was probably unbearable, you're right. You know, I contemplate that every day.
You say unbearable, I say adorable.
Thank you. I don't remember the details. What's that?
Sending you a heart.
Oh, is that a heart? I thought that was saying, remember your kidneys.
Right, we need an answer. So, Lee's team is Sean, Raj's bare-chested buddy, Gemma's crisp combustor, or David's heroic hairdresser.
I'm struggling with David's here a little bit.
Yes. So Gemma's Wotsits. That's very believable. That's the kind of thing a kind of wacky science teacher would do to...
Yeah. It is very believable.
passion in science.
And what's unbelievable is the idea that... Now, Raj...
Have you left the gas on?
Raj, show us a trick.
If I could have half an hour
Yeah.
and the use of the internet, I'm sure I could do that.
Oh, yeah, but what did you think the question was? I don't know, what do you think?
I think he does look a lot like a science teacher. I think Gemma's telling the truth.
So we're going to say Gemma.
Yeah.
Gemma?
Saying it's Gemma. OK, right. So, Sean, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Sean, and Raj used to whip my shirt off for money.
Yes, Sean is Raj's bare-chested buddy, and we can now see the trick. So, you're going to need to wear masks for this, please. Sean, if you...
Zorro masks!
You take a position there in the chair, and then over to you, Raj.
Oh, God.
Well, I would simply get Sean out as my stooge. We'd act as if we didn't know each other. I'd say, good evening, how are you? And I would undo his wrist button, and then I would undo this button, and then, as you can see, I'd undo this button. And then all I'd say is, on the count of 3, we'd say some magic words. And tonight, they are, would I lie to you? So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Would I lie to you?
Oh, hang on. What's happened? I've nearly killed him.
Sorry, I've been having a breakdown. I'm actually Gemma's science test. The noise was the best bit.
30 years since we've done it.
I've just got pictures of him 30 years ago, just coming in every week going, can you please do it right this time?
It was the second poll. You decided to go again was the coolest bit. Why did you keep going?
Thank God you didn't cut him in half.
Is Sean all right?
Who cares?
Raj!
He's fine.
I love the idea that you had to put masks on for safety reasons. And it almost took his head off.
Which brings us to our final round, quick-fire lies, and we start with... It's Lee.
I was pecked in the eye twice while closely inspecting a cuckoo clock at precisely 2 p.m.
David's team.
I've seen worse injuries tonight.
Yeah. Where was this cuckoo clock?
It was on my wall.
Why were you inspecting it?
Because it wasn't working properly.
Oh, it sounds like it was.
So it turns out.
When did this happen?
It happened at 2 o'clock. Are you listening?
You're at home. You're relaxing at Mack Acres.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you...
it was in the 90s.
Oh.
Mack bedsits.
Right.
Yeah.
What's a bedsit?
What's a bedsit?
Yeah.
A bedsit is like this a very small flat. It's probably where your staff live.
If you knew at 2 o'clock it was going to come out,
Yeah.
doesn't that seem a little bit strange to
No,
be getting very
because-
close to it?
No, because it was coming out at midday. It was coming out at 12:05, and at 1 o'clock it came out at 5 past. And I kept tinkering with the bits inside, and I thought it's going to happen again. This isn't it? Because I haven't fixed it. And I went in close, thinking this time when it strikes 2, I'm going to listen to the noise it makes inside because it's not going to come out, is it? Bang right in the eye. Bang right in the eye.
So essentially, you were a victim of your own clock-mending success.
Absolutely. You did enough fiddling to produce a result.
What do you think, David?
What do you think?
Cobblers.
Rubbish. What are you going to say?
I think we're going to say a lie.
You're going to say it's a lie.
Yeah, I
OK,
think so.
Lee, the truth or lie?
That's a lie.
It's Josh.
Ooh. Even though we use the same brand, I insist my wife and I have separate tubes of toothpaste because the way she squeezes hers is just plain wrong.
David's
Right.
I can believe that. To be honest, it happens with us as well. We've got separate toothpaste tubes, so...
What does your wife do, then? Where
I
do you
always squeeze mine up from the bottom,
Yeah.
but she'll just squeeze it randomly. Is that like you, Josh?
I'd imagine when you squeeze your tube, the whole blooming head comes off.
So I do mine traditionally from the top.
Right.
The top? That's
Yeah,
not traditional.
That's not traditional.
Well, no. The toothpaste comes out the top.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, that is traditional.
That is traditional.
mean,
Do you know what,
it's
David?
very-
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
because I've been having this argument for 6 or 7 years.
She did sort of cut a hole in the side.
No, not at the side. So she cuts the bottom corner off. You know,
No,
like
she does.
No, she does. Like, you know, with a 99, when you bite the bottom of it.
Yes.
Because she doesn't like the way the top clags up with toothpaste.
Ah.
So about halfway through, she'll cut the bottom corner off and go from the bottom to get a new kind of exit.
Yeah, so she'll initially make some use of the top nozzle.
Until it starts to get claggy.
And then she cuts it a little rectum.
Yes.
Yeah.
It seems to me a very simple solution. You have your own tubes each.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, we do.
That's the point. that's what we're being invited to believe
know
or
what?
disbelieve.
I have found this very reassuring, because you've all backed up my approach and you've totally backed up the way I'm living my life.
I think I believe it. I just want to know when you found this out.
It was probably when we moved in together. And
then-
to be honest, I didn't have an issue with it. I thought initially, this is fine, it's quirky. It's something I love about her. And then it started to annoy me.
That's about everything in life.
All right, so what do we think? Is he telling the truth?
I think he's telling the truth.
I think so too.
I can just imagine him like having quite an independent wife, you know. That just
Yeah,
doesn't...
she'd have to be, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it sounds true. My first instinct was true, so yeah.
OK.
Stick with it.
Well, I think that if Josh had been given that card just now, he wouldn't have invented the idea of snipping the bottom corner off the toothpaste tube. That's what makes me think he's telling
Well, what
the truth.
would he have invented?
What you're saying, David, is
Yeah.
that I don't have the mental capacity to come up with that idea.
Truth is, Josh, I'm not saying it's impossible. With a following wind, on a good day, maybe. What I'm saying is I think it's more likely that it's just something that your wife actually does.
All right,
And,
we're
you know.
saying it's true.
Yeah.
Josh Widdicombe, truth or lie?
It's a lie.
Very good. That noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. And I can reveal that David's team have won by 4 points to 2. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Now, this time round, they're trying to track down Keith Lemon. 6 degrees from Jamie and Spencer. Listen now with the BBC Sounds app. Next, living with Lee, you'd think Lucy would age quickly, but actually, it's the other way round. As you'll see, new, not going out.
Right, are we doing it again? Yeah? Yeah, OK.
On the count of 3, we're going to have the magic words. 1, 2, 3. Would I
Would I
like you?
you?